Hi, I'm Suzanne. Let me show you how to create an invoice. First things first. If you want your company logo to appear on your invoices, navigate to Settings and Company Logo and upload your logo to FreeAgent. Once you've done that, there are a few different ways you can create a blank invoice. You could select New Invoice from the Quick Links menu on the overview screen, or navigate to Work, Invoicing and select Add New Invoice. Alternatively, if you've set a project up to manage all your work for a particular job, you can create an invoice from the project itself. First, navigate to Work and Projects, select the project you want to attach your invoice to, and go to Add New Invoice. You'll see that the contact and project fields have been filled out already. If your invoice isn't attached to a contact, you can choose one from the drop-down menu. Now, if you've created an invoice directly from a project, as I've done here, you'll be given the option to add any unbilled time, expenses, or estimates for the project to the invoice, and choose how these are displayed. Next, you need to enter a reference number for the invoice. If this is your very first invoice in FreeAgent, we recommend you use 001. If you've created an invoice before, FreeAgent will assign this invoice the next reference number in the sequence. You also need to assign a date for the invoice and enter your payment terms. If you've enabled your FreeAgent account to accept payments from customers online, you can select the online payment options you want to offer your customer here. If you want to add some text to the invoice, type it in here. To make this message appear on all of your invoices, select Set Default Additional Text and type your message in the pop-up window. To automatically show your bank account details on the invoice for payment, choose the appropriate bank account from the drop-down menu. Once you're happy with the options you've selected, hit Create Invoice. Now you've created the invoice, you need to choose a theme for it. Have a browse through the gallery and choose your favourite design. Now let's take a look at the invoice itself. You might remember that I chose to add unbilled time slips, expenses and estimates from the project to this invoice, and you can see these here. If you didn't choose to do this, or your invoice isn't attached to a project, you won't see any items on the invoice yet. To add an item to the invoice, select Add Invoice Item and pop in the details. I'll just draw your attention to this drop-down menu here, which allows you to choose a unit of time for the invoice line item. You can save the new invoice line item to your price list to use again in the future. If you have just the one line item for your invoice, select Create and Finish. Or if you have more to enter, hit Create and add another. Now let's take another look at the invoice. As you can see, the line item that I entered is now displayed alongside the unbilled time slips, expenses and estimates for the project. If you realise that you've made a mistake at this stage, don't worry. You can edit the line items or delete them from the invoice. You can also shuffle them around if you want them to appear in a different order. OK, you've created your invoice. To find out how to send it, take a look at the next video. See you there.